Joining us from Capitol Hill is Ohio Republican Congressman Mike Turner. He's a senior member of the House Armed Services Committee. Congressman, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
So, of course, we know the president is set to speak later this hour, and, of course, there is some level of expectation that he will likely reiterate this vow of no boots on the ground. However, yesterday, the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, Martin Dempsey, says he has not ruled out recommending U.S. ground forces to the president. A little bit of back and forth there. I'm curious what you're looking to hear from the president today.
Well, certainly you have contradictory messages that are coming out of the administration. General Dempsey making it very clear that his assessment could include a recommendation of ground troops. There's significant questions on Capitol Hill as the president's proposal to arm Syrian rebels goes forward, both in terms of whether or not we can ascertain correctly who these people are, what risks there will be of arming them, but also the issue that General Keane testified about before the Armed Services Committee here in the House today, which is how long this is going to take. That really is the calculus that goes to ground troops, and that the president's plan of doing limited airstrikes and then working to arm Syrian rebel troops isn't going to be available tomorrow. As this threat has emerged and the president's been slow to respond, the threat may evolve very quickly and require, as General Dempsey said, him making a recommendation to the president that more troops, because there are troops on the ground in Iraq and the president's approved them, that more troops go into Iraq.
Congressman, you noted the House will vote today on whether to provide funding to arm the so-called moderate Syrian rebels. How will you vote on this measure, sir?
Well, I'm going to support the president in this. I'm very concerned about his plan. I'm not certain that the president accurately has assessed the risk to our national security, and I believe there is one. There is an absolute direct threat, as the trailer that you just mentioned today shows, and the arrests in New York show. This is an absolute threat to the US Homeland. I hope the president is listening to his advisors so that we don't just have these contradictory statements, but that they are given everything that they need to be able to destroy this threat, as the president has indicated he's committed to do.
You talk about that propaganda video that ISIS has put out. You talk about the social media chatter. We hear New York Police Commissioner Bill Bratton talking about this chatter and the fact that there are targets here that they have picked up on U.S. soil, the Times Square area. We know the Las Vegas Strip. I'm curious what you're thinking in terms of the direct threat to Homeland and how it should affect our decision making about the anti-ISIS strategy.
You know, the 9/11 Commission in Chapter 12 of their report specifically said that if we view the threat coming from 9/11 as just Osama bin Laden or al-Qaeda, that we would miss the real security threat to our country. And I think that's what we're seeing evolving here today. As the president believed, and I think limited, the involvement in fighting Islamic extremism, Islamic terrorism to al-Qaeda and Osama bin Laden, we've seen now this growing threat. The president needs to reread Chapter 12 of the 9/11 Commission report, and I think certainly that should dictate what our policy is, and that is this is a direct threat to the United States, and we need to confront it.
Congressman Mike Turner, thanks for joining us today at this hour.